do this when I'm fucking busy.
Do you have favorite moments or episodes from the show?
It won't make sense to anyone, but there just comes a show once in a while, because, you know, there are these shows where we got to think about, because especially when you are doing an issue show, you got to be saying, okay, but what are we actually saying here, and does this scene really show what we mean, or does this dilute that, and does this, you know, but we did a show last season about the Queef sisters, and it was just chicks queefing for about 30 minutes, and I laughed my ass off the entire week. I was doing reading and laughing, I was doing animation checks and laughing, recording and laughing, and then people saw, I'm like, what's that? What the fuck was that? So I think my opinion, what I like is very different from what the audience likes. Because we had just done fish sticks, and I was like, well, that was stupid. These pictures, that's awesome.
Now, obviously, with the success of the program, you've had an increasingly large audience watching it. Has that influenced you guys at all in preparing the show, working it out, thinking about ideas, the idea that you now have this global audience as opposed to a smaller?
Yeah, no, and I think it's the right thing to do. You know, because we started the show just doing, first of all, it was just me and, you know, Matt and I trying to make each other laugh. That's really where it started, and with the shorts was just what's going to make each other laugh. And so, and then when we started doing the thing, it was like, you know, we hired a bunch of friends from Colorado and hired them to be employees, and it was just like, what's going to make them laugh? We never thought about the audience, we just thought about, and we still do today, you know, we're still just, you know, what's going to make our family and friends laugh? What do I want them to see this week on TV? And it's like, you really can't let your head get too far out of that, or else you start pandering. You know what I mean? And you start saying, oh, well, the kids are going to like this, but the adults are going to like that, you know, and then you're Family Guy. I mean, then you're, you know, doing something different.
Are you surprised then by the success of the program?
Oh, hell yeah. No, I mean, we really thought we were six and done. And the first time, I mean, when we won the first Emmy, we were like, what? Did you see it? Like, stupid. And then we won a Peabody Award. I was like, come on. and we're constantly surprised. I mean, and it's nice. It is nice. But, you know, again, it's what's really cool about it is, you know, along with like Frank and Butters, you know, it's like there's just a big group of friends that have been there now for 13 years, and we're all just a bunch of friends trying to get the show on the air every week, and, you know, it's brutal. It's not like we're having a great time when we're doing it, but at the end of the run, we feel great, and it's nice. It's probably the best working environment in LA, I would assume. Right, guys?
In your opinion, then, what do you think counts for the popularity and the longevity of the program?
I have no idea. If I knew, I'd do it again. But I think it is just that it's a homegrown thing. You know, it's never become a thing by committee. And the fact that it's not like, okay, well, here's the script, let's get notes on the script and then see what people think and then have someone rewrite the script. You know, it's all about a molding process because, you know, by Thursday we have some ideas. Friday we come in, we can see like 2 scenes and be like, okay, well, this is funny, this is it. Let's put Cartman in this and let's do that. Oh, I'm starting to see what this show is now. And then, you know, as the days go along, you're sculpting it into something rather than just, you know, trying to do it by committee. You know, which I think at least if it doesn't make it better, it makes it different.
Do you guys ever clash during the production process?
Not really, because we don't have time. And that's the thing, what's nice too is there's no time for writer's block. You know, and as soon as you're just like, well, I can't think of anything, it's like, well, the show's on the air on Wednesday, better write something down. And so you do that, and then you're like, oh, that's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, Matt and I still don't really argue. And I think that part of the reason is because we can go in and we do the scripts basically real time. We go into the booth and he's Kyle and Kenny and I'm Stan and Cartman. So Especially when we can go in there and I can be Cartman and he can be Kyle, we can just start fucking yelling at each other as those kids and we get it all out right then, you know.
There are actually a lot of questions, and I don't know if you want to address this or not, about the whole Isaac Hayes situation, about what happened if you think it was all the Scientologists. Would you have had him back if he wanted to come back?
Oh yeah, and you know, there's certain things I can't say legally. So yeah, what happened was, you know, we decided to do the Scientology show. We knew Isaac was a Scientologist. Like I had said, that's why we kind of held off for a while. But finally, we're like, we got to just do it. And we made the decision. We said we're not going to tell him because we want him to be able to honestly say, I knew nothing about it. So we decided we'll do the show. We won't write Chef into the show, and then you know we'll just see what happens. And so we did it, and Scientology wasn't super stoked on us. And then Isaac came over. Isaac called and said, I need to talk to you guys. Maybe I didn't talk to you guys. And I was like, okay, do that. And then I said, Matt, I gotta go home. You deal with this, buddy. And I went home. And so Isaac came and talked to Matt, who's much better at conflict than I am. And basically sat there before Matt and said, we just need you to pull the episode. And Matt said, Isaac, come on, you've been with us for 12 years, or 10 years, it's fine. You know, we can't do that, because if we pull this episode for Scientology, we got to pull that episode for them, and we got to pull this episode for them, and you can't start that trend. And I was like, I know, but just pull the episode. And, you know, Matt held firm. I was at home. And you know, we basically said, look, we're sorry, and we could see he was really bummed out because he loves South Park and he loves Scientology for whatever fucking reason. And so, you know, he was conflicted, and we were finally like, look, dude, if you need to quit, it's cool. You know, we're sorry. It was a great run. We love you. Hope you come back sometime, and that's how we left it. And everything was, you know, that's how it was all left. And then about 4 months later, we read a newspaper article that said, Isaac Hayes finally says why he left South Park because Trey and Matt are racist. And it was just this whole big thing about how we're racist. And that's why he had to quit. And all the quotes that he had in it was, we know Isaac really well. It was all lawyer talk, and these quotes were not nice. And so we were really, you know, it was obvious that this had come from Scientology. And we're like, all right, game on, motherfucker. And so we did another episode about Scientology, and we killed Chef and made him a child molester. And
well, you guys have obviously poked fun at religion quite a lot on the program. Do you consider yourself to be a religious person at all?
It would be a 2-hour-long discussion. It's actually kind of interesting. I got asked on Dateline, do you believe in God? And we got to be really good friends with Penn and Teller.